Welcome. Up early. Y'all are up early this morning. Unmute yourself, Reverend Nathan.
Of course. Good morning. Good morning.
I don't think I met you, Reverend Nathan.
I have seen you on the YouTube, but we have not met before. It's fantastic. Good to meet you.
Nice for you to get up so early. Hey, Maurice, Ionne, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Thank you for getting up early.
Thank you for having me. It's really
Are you
great.
up? Are y'all up early people? Are y'all morning people?
I am absolutely not a morning person, but I am the father of a wonderful 5-year-old, so
Oh,
I'm always up early anyway.
by default. So
Yeah. I think I'm an all I think I'm an all-day person. I like to get up early, but as you know, Babs, sometimes we intersect late in the evenings at events and things, so around town. So yeah, I think I'm an all-day person.
you're all day. I'm gonna
There's a
use that. I'm an all day person. I am too. I'm an all day person.
there's a
Woo!
meme that goes around sometimes. I love it. It says, we evolved this way. Why do we make fun of folks who want to stay up late or have to sleep in? Because yes, somebody needs to get up early and do the hunting and the gathering, but someone needs to stay up all night tending the fire and keeping the wolves away too. So
Oh,
I'm about that.
Love that.
I like that. That's a mighty word right there. So
Nice.
how are y'all doing? Y'all got an event coming up. Tell me about this opportunity to listen to this good music that y'all are presenting. How do y'all know each other?
Sure. So, first of all, I'll start out with just a little bit about the event. So, the event is called Sound and Style. And Sound and Style, I will be performing some works from my new releases, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, today. So, we've got Pathos, the EP,
Yes.
and A Light on Truth, the album. So, we'll have some material from there. And that is actually in collaboration with the St. PJs Jazz Ensemble.
Which is
So,
world class. World class.
it is. And I have been, so in my real life as Maurice, I've been a member and participant and vestry member at St. PJ's. I'm currently a vestry member now. I've been a member there for years. And we are putting on this particular performance as a benefit concert for this wonderful Jazz and Justice Center, as we call it, which is also my church home. So I think it'll be a wonderful opportunity to kind of blend the context, this whole idea of bringing your whole self. And I love the idea that this is a community where we can each bring our whole selves. And I'll be bringing a lot of the musical work that I do outside of my church life into this church center and inviting folks from across the community to come and share it with us and with the St. PJ's Jazz Ensemble.
Oh, I love it. I used to go to St. PJ's for Jazz Vespers. Do y'all still do Jazz Vespers?
No, I'm the priest in charge of St. Peter's. I've been there in this role since February, but I've been hanging around the church in different roles for 5 or 6 years. Jazz Vespers and a number of other things, sort of COVID changed a lot, but some of the
Okay.
saints
Yes.
there who were doing Jazz Vespers, and we were definitely talking about what's a new service we could add, bringing back the concerts like what we're doing on 1010. Those used to happen. So I don't want to say we're not doing Jazz Vespers anymore. We're not doing Jazz Vespers right now, but the
Mhm.
future is going to hold some amazing things, including musically, and we will see what that looks like, starting with this Sound and Style concert.
I love it. So what can we expect from the sound and sight sound from this concert? What can we expect? And how should we be be prepared for it?
So, good question. So, as an artist, you know how things go. You have a concept in mind, and then you keep tinkering with it up until the day of the show. I think we're pretty settled at this point, though. At least, I've got an idea of what I'll be rendering. So, the majority of the material will be from Pathos, and I'll mention what Pathos is all about because that itself has a really interesting backstory, and will incorporate a projection project. I'm working with a video animator who is animating the stories that tell, or the animating scenes that tell the story of the EP. So it will be a bit like, almost like watching a movie being scored live. I think about, the best analogy I can think of for old silent films where you'd have, somebody playing live to the music in the background, except in this case, I'll be performing the actual songs that go to the videos. You'll be able to experience those live in that space and really be able to contemplate the deeper meanings of the music, which of course gets to the deeper meanings of the music. So Pathos, the EP here, was actually inspired by a fashion takeover of Union Station that T. Montgomery.
Oh yes, I saw the video. Like I saw it on Facebook because I couldn't be there, but I saw it. I saw it
Yeah.
on Facebook. It was great.
So T had come to me about a month and a half prior to the actual event, because he'd been really interested and intrigued by an earlier composition of mine. It's called Distance, and he was curious if I could score a soundtrack to his Pathos Runway show based on the 5 themes that he was addressing in his fashion. So the 5 themes were pride, envy, imposter syndrome, patience, and acceptance. And so how to
Wow.
translate these emotional themes through his fashion design, and then bring that into the music that he would then be bringing to the runway. And so we had everything sort of developed in I would say, a proof of concept phase by the time of the runway show, which was a lot of fun. It's probably the quickest I've ever produced a project literally from scratch, from the ground up, an album length's worth of material in less than a couple of months, 3 months. And then, and when I embarked on the project, it was with the understanding that I would develop this further into a finished EP that I would then release based on the work. So the cover photo, in fact, on the EP here is me wearing one of T's designs.
I
And
love it.
I've been meaning to ask you about that. That's a beautiful picture.
yeah, the CD itself has another image, and the photos were taken by the collective NHV, which is also a New Haven-based team of creatives here who've worked with me on actually on all of my recent projects, and I just really love working with them. So that's the backstory here. And so I worked with an AI animator who's sort of taken this concept now and created this visual story that goes with it. I'll present that with the music. Will and Dylan from the St. PJs Jazz Ensemble will actually.
I know Dylan Rowland. He's a an award-winning piano player.
That's right. Absolutely.
Love him. Yes, I catch him around town. I catch him
amazing.
around town. Yeah,
Yes.
gigging. Yeah,
They're going to be making guest appearances in my works, in addition to performing their own, the St. PJ's Jazz Ensemble works, that evening. So nothing to prepare other than maybe, I don't know, prepare a little bit of a contribution if you feel so led to donate to this performance. We're not requiring any sort of ticket or cover charge, but we do have a suggested donation because, again, this is a benefit for all the great work that St. PJ's does.
So I'll add a couple things. One is that just to lift up the jazz, our music director. So St. PJ's likes to say we are all about jazz and justice grounded in Jesus. And so most
I like that.
I love this at most Episcopal churches. You get an organ, you get great choirs. 3 of the Episcopal churches in New Haven are world class in that regard. But our music is jazz, maybe not what you're used to in an Episcopal church, but equally holy, divine, spiritual. And that's been the case for probably 20 years now. Will Cleary is our music director. Come any Sunday morning at 10:30 to hear Will and Dylan and others. We'll be blessing pets this weekend, by the way. You can come to church and bring Fido or Fluffy or Slither in the snake if you want, and I'll give it a blessing. You can hear jazz music this weekend. And so Will and Dylan, they'll be joined by, I believe, is Dante playing? Dante James, fantastic saxophone prodigy. Alec Peterson will be there on drums, I learned the other day. So going to be a lot of great jazz music to stir the, we say jazz infuses everything St. PJ's does. It's the music, but it's the spirit too. And I'm very grateful to Will for always reminding us that it's not a gimmick. It is spirituality. It's connected to every emotion and connects us to the divine. I will add that we're also going to have food for sale. We're going to be sort of a notch above homemade, but not quite at professional yet. Just some fantastic catering efforts that are moving towards restaurant level from a wonderful Jamaican family, but they'll be pulling on all sorts of diverse cultural elements. So that's going to be wonderful too. So just a whole evening with Ionne and Will Cleary, and I'm so excited for it.
And this is October 10th at 6 o'clock.
6:30. Music starts.
6:30.
We should say that the church, the formal name of the church is St. Paul and St. James Episcopal Church. If you're looking on Google Maps, we call it St. PJ's. That's at 57 Olive Street in Worcester Square on the corner of Olive and Chapel.
You can't miss it. It's an imposing church that sits right there on the corner.
If you go to Sally's a Beats, we're the big wall looming above Sally's parking lot. I'll say we've been there since 1840. So when Pepe's up the street from us turned 100 this summer, we're happy to wish them a happy birthday, but sort of looking at Pepe's the Beats and thinking, oh, 100, you're still such a baby.
I love that. So Maurice, is the Ionne, is the music, does it lend itself to a jazz flavor because this is your church and because this church roots are jazz?
What's so interesting, and that's actually this I think speaks to one of the broader messages of St. PJ's and frankly the Episcopal Church in general that really appeals to me, especially in today's time. So I think about this message of inclusivity, and thinking about all of the sort of crossroads that intersect to make us who we are as whole people. This is not, for example, church music, religious music. I'll be playing secular music. I'll be playing my music, bringing it into this church space. And a lot of my music is informed and inspired by so many different styles, so many different genres. Somewhat intentionally, this particular project, Pathos, has Afro house roots, so roots in Afro house, amapiano. There's a little bit of amapiano on the project, R&B. And I think those styles lend themselves very well to a lot of improvisation. So there are various jazzy improvisational moments. There's a couple of spots specifically on the album where there are jazz soloists. They're on the album versions. They're played by guitar, and Will and I are experimenting with saxophone versions of that. So we'll see how that pans out by the night of the show. So I think the short answer is yes, there are heavy jazz influences and jazz intersections here in the project, and that is actually very intentional.
I want to jump on that word inclusivity. I'm in such a good mood this morning. Back up first too. I meant to say about our jazz. So Will Cleary, our music director, really is of national renown. He has led the entire Episcopal Church at its triennial every 3-year general convention gathering. So when all the bishops and the whole church gets together for worship and government, Will has been in the band there leading the music for the worship nationally, and he tours with the Odyssey Jazz Collective, which was started by a previous music director at St. PJ's in years past. So really is world class. But I'm so glad Maurice said inclusivity, and that is definitely in the bones and the DNA of jazz, but also St. PJ's. I woke up in such a good mood today. The Episcopal Church is part of the Global Anglican Communion. That's sort of our global denomination. The Anglican Communion is led by, and we are the only official Anglican church in the United States. Others have the name, but we're the Anglican presence. The Anglican Communion is led symbolically by the Archbishop of Canterbury, and as in England. And as of this morning, I woke up to this news about an hour ago. We have a new Archbishop of Canterbury, and her name is Sarah. So
wow, congratulations.
The first woman Archbishop of Canterbury ever. The Archbishop of Canterbury leads the third biggest global denomination. She meets with the Pope and the Orthodox Patriarch regularly. And so it's a woman now, and that's just fabulous. And we have 2 bishops in Connecticut. One is a married gay man, one is a woman. And so the leadership at St. PJ's is racially diverse in age. And so it's just a reminder that you don't have to believe what we believe to come. You have to be okay that we believe it and that we're going to teach it. But you can be anywhere in your spiritual journey. You can disagree with us on everything. But if you want a place to rest, to be challenged, to be restored and healed with music, it doesn't matter where you are on your journey. We believe that everyone has the image of God in them, and everyone is welcome, and that's all there is to it. So
I love that. Amen. That's a good thing to kick off a good weekend with. So Maurice, do you perform at your church? Is there a choir? Like, are you part of the musicality of the church?
I am part of the musicality of the church on a volunteer basis. There is no choir, but I am, I guess in church terms, we would call that person the cantor, but, singing the jazz and gospel versions of the hymns and songs that we render there, I think, yeah.
Sort of vocally leading everyone else in worship, showing us what the
vocally
medley.
leading the worship, yes. Vocally leading the worship.
Oh, I would come just to hear you sing.
Well, I appreciate that, and we would love.
I think you have a very beautiful voice. I was struck by that just recently when I heard you somewhere, and I thought, oh, Maurice, you can sing. Because I'm used to you just playing the music. I'm not used to you playing.
I mentioned earlier our intersections at evening events. That was an event at it was the Schwartzman Center at Summer at the Well.
Yes.
one of the artists, it was at AZA also, had just kind of sort of opened it up to the audience to come up and sing a line from a song that he had.
And Maurice just went up there
No,
and
but
blew.
the song
Everybody's
was so
like,
beautiful. The song was
"What
so
is
beautiful. I
going
just
on?"
and if he hadn't if they hadn't taken the microphone from me, I was really getting into it. You were about to have a Christina Aguilera moment. I was gonna start with the mic.
So I would imagine that this will be successful, and you will continue to do more of these kinds of um, interesting collaborations of musicians for the benefit of the church. Is that correct?
We'll have something in, we'll have a couple things in December. Don't have dates or formal announcements yet. And I don't know if Maurice Ionne would be involved. I certainly hope so. But there will be this concert at 6:30 on Friday, October 10th, a week from today. Will be in the Undercroft, fancy church word for basement under the sanctuary. But the next one in the sanctuary, a bit more holiday Christmas theme, perhaps. We just had a hymn sing in the parish hall where we just sat around the piano eating ice cream and singing hymns for fun. Instead of just, hey, what 3 or 4 am I going to get in church? Just shout out your favorites. We'll do that again for Christmas time. So absolutely some of this will continue. And I assume, Maurice, you've got other projects too that aren't at St. PJ's.
I do, yes, yeah, I do have other projects coming up that aren't at St. PJ's, but this particular one is actually this is actually my second concert at St. PJ's, the first that we framed as a benefit for St. PJ's, and I am looking forward to participating in the ones that you mentioned that are coming up.
So Maurice, when does the album drop?
So the album's dropped. The album's dropped in late August. They are out now on all your favorite streaming platforms. You can go to my website, which is so easy to remember. It's ione.com, IONNE.com, and you'll find there on the homepage the links to the smart links, so that you can access the releases from all your streaming platforms.
I love it. So what was the best thing about this project? Like what did you love most about this? And how long were you thinking about this? Like, were you thinking about this before the big fashion show at Union Station, or did that just add to what you were already gonna do?
Was not even on my radar. And this is the point where I have to mention the second project, which is the full-length album. It's called A Light Untruth. You can see it here. And I was actually knee deep in A Light Untruth, probably like neck deep in A Light Untruth. This is a project that has been 3 years in the making. The album has been 3 years in the making, when T had come to me about the possibility of composing for his runway show. And I actually put things on hold to shift my attention to this, because to T's project, because the creative brief that he had put together was so inspiring, and it was just one of those things where, from the moment we sat down over coffee to discuss this concept and he had presented it to me, it was like the songs had already started to write themselves. In my head, I already had a very clear idea of the overall concept and just needed to sit down and start writing. And I think within that first week after our conversation, I had sent him a demo of the first song for the release, and was already working on the second, and so things just flowed very quickly from there, which is unusual. And when inspiration sort of hits like that, you have to turn your attention to it and act on it.
So
Maurice,
tell me about Pathos.
Right. So that was and so that, sort of culminated in the Pathos project. So once the Pathos project was done, it was on the runway, and the release was, and I was planning on the commercial release. I also had gone back then to put the finishing touches on A Light Untruth, this project again that had been 3 years in the making, and knew that I wanted them out before the end of fall. Just found an optimal date in August, I believe it was August 29th, and decided that I would just release them together as a double release. There was no reason to hold up one for the other, and so I released them together as a double release.
I love it. Okay, so Reverend Nathan, you said you got here in February. Where are you from originally?
Well, I've been in New Haven for 10 years now. Originally East Texas and then North Idaho. And I claim, even though I'm very different than you might expect from someone from those areas, I love them both, but I claim them as home. But I've been all over New Hampshire, Nebraska, New Orleans for a while after the storm, Washington, D.C., where I met my wife and we came here. And even though I've never lived there, Tucson, Arizona is where my family is and feels like home. So a little bit of everywhere.
And how you liking New Haven so far? And you got to square up on the pizza wars. Who
Yeah,
you picking?
I have a favorite. I kind of don't want to say it and chase away half my church, but I everyone's allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to have your favorite place. You can, and you know, there are people who love Sally's, and then there are people who are wrong. I love like I love Delenia. I love is it the parties in West Haven. We get next. We used to get next door a lot. It closed. We no one knows that Gagliardi's in North Haven is the
Mm.
best. That's in delivery radius of my house. I live in Hamden, so we get Gagliardi's a lot. It just that there are what 20 or 30 pizza places in town that are better than anything a typical town of 10 or 20,000 people have. So like the pizza per person, you know, the population. What's the word I'm looking for? Is just amazing in New Haven. I
You
love it.
have really immersed yourself in these pizza wars.
Love that original pie though. You when you don't get it with the moots, you do the original. The sauce pops so wonderfully. Sally's is amazing sauce. I know Frank Pepe used to go to Italy every year to pick the tomatoes, what were the best tomatoes that year to make his sauce out of. And I've just never had better sauce than I've had in New Haven. And I've been ordering extra sauce on my pies, you know, my whole life. So that's a wonderful discovery here.
Did you get a chance to see the pizza play this summer at the for the Festival for the International Arts and Ideas? It was
I
based on Frank Pepe's life.
No, I missed it. It would have been amazing though. And
There was three.
I
It ran 3 weeks during the International Festival of Arts and Ideas. I was in it, so it was
oh,
really
I hope
it
it's
was
safe.
an
I missed
amazing
the
run.
giant party in the green the other day too. A 5-year-old, the timing didn't work, but I do celebrate all the pizza here in New Haven. So I've been here for a while. You know, we moved here for me to attend seminary and grad school. I went to Yale's Divinity School, but also Yale's Forestry School for religion and ecology, looking at climate science and faith together. And then I had a job when I graduated that was national, but my wife worked here, and now I have a job that's here, and she's got a remote job. We keep switching who we're here for, and I think maybe we'll just stay for my daughter because she was born here and it's her home. So
Okay,
weird to be
okay.
New England Yankee baby after I'm from Texas, but I love it for her. So it's a
Uh,
great place to raise a kid.
it's a good place to raise a kid, I think.
I will say my last job, I've been here for a while, it was a remote job. I was the director of a national organization called Faithful America, which I don't represent anymore, to be clear, but that is a progressive Christian group with 200,000 members that is fighting white Christian nationalism, standing up to fascism, resisting authoritarianism, resisting the hijacking of Jesus's name to hurt people. So that's not, you know, standing up to Franklin Graham and the politicians he supports. You know, I'm at a church now. We're not going to be partisan. We'll be political. We'll engage in the issues to help people. But as a C4, Faithful America could actually oppose Trump. We were taking a big 15-foot golden calf balloon that looked like Trump to a lot of his rallies and protests. So if you're looking for a church that does resist white Christian nationalism and tries to replace all the horrible oppression things we see today with love and community, with jazz and justice and Jesus, I mean, that's St. PJ. So that's where I was before the church, but it's where the church is too.
I love that. Well, you had me at jazz, but I might come for the justice.
Oh, I just learned. So we should give Loaves and Fishes a plug. Loaves and Fishes is a fantastic food and clothing pantry, separate organization based in our basement. The church founded it, but it's now a separate nonprofit. But that's justice at a local level. Sunrise Cafe likewise works out of the basement. But in the past, I've learned that IRIS, the Immigrant and Refugee Services Organization, where my wife used to work, they were started by the Episcopal Diocese here in Connecticut, but they worked out of St. PJ's for many years. And I just learned we founded the neighborhood music school as the neighborhood
Yes.
school to teach immigrants, but it was spun off and is now the neighborhood music school. So community involvement, justice nationally and locally has a long history at St. PJ's. I've even been told that the Black Panthers used to have meetings in the church in the 60s.
Mm-hmm. So you've got a rich history to stand on.
Building on the shoulders of giants. I mean, the richest history was 2,000 years ago, right? With the little baby born in a
He's gonna preach this
to a
morning.
working
I
class
I
kid.
love it. Listen, you know what? People are gonna come to his church now because they're hearing him and they're like, I had no idea. I had no idea little Episcopalian church up there is that bold and that bad ass. I love it.
Well,
And that's is that why you go there, Maurice?
Yes.
Because of the Jesus, justice, and jazz.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I do have to admit, it was the jazz that drew me in. So I discovered St. PJ's for myself. It was actually during the pandemic, and I was still very new to New Haven and looking around for a place for a worship community, and found their online services. They're offered online, And as soon as I could get back to an in-person service, went to check it out and have been there ever since, and really have loved it, and was very quickly was able to get involved and find myself at home there. So yeah.
Oh, I
Come
love
again,
it.
Jazz, stay for the justice. Feel Jesus' love in all of it. And if you do that this weekend, bring your pets.
I won't make it for the pets, but I will pop in there in the next couple of weeks. I'm in law school, so my time is
Right.
challenging.
How much
Uh,
time do you have still in law school?
Oh, I just started, so I'm 1 month in as a
Oh,
1L.
Oh, 1L. Oh my gosh.
luck.
Prayer for you.
Yeah.
Please, please.
So one of my predecessors as the priest in charge of St. PJs was the Reverend Harlan Dalton.
Oh
And
yes, he is legendary in town.
Harlan's fantastic, and he was a Yale law professor. But speaking of pets and law school, in addition to church at 10:30 on Sunday, Harlan and I will be in Worcester Square Park Saturday morning, 9:30 to noon, just standing there in our albs blessing pets. It's a drop by blessings. That's part of the service Sunday. But if you're out for a walk in Worcester Square, come get your pet blessing from Harlan or me on Saturday as well.
Oh, that's lovely. And it's nice to see Harlan still connected to the church in that way.
He'll be. I've also invited him to celebrate and preach at All Saints Day. So that's one of the 3 or 4 big holidays of the church year, and that's the first Sunday in November. So we stay in touch with Harlan. Harlan's a dear friend.
I went to your church a couple of times for Mardi Gras. Are y'all still doing
Oh
Fat
yeah,
Tuesday,
that,
pancakes
that
and
came back.
sausages? That
That came back in person this year. I think that was the first in person one since before the pandemic. But the Jazz Collective plays, and we enjoy some fantastic Cajun food, and it makes me wish I was back in New Orleans. It's a good time, and the other in that jazz tradition, every Palm Sunday. I mean, Easter's the big Sunday, right? But musically, we really get into it a week earlier on Palm Sunday with a New Orleans style second line parade around the Worcester.
oh,
So the jazz band leading us in procession throughout Worcester Square before we return to the church. So
oh
Mardi Gras on Sunday or
you are inviting me in ways that are speaking to my spirit.
and
I mean, I'm a UCC person, right? I'm a big UCC, which is one step above Quaker.
hey, no, UCC is great. So many great UCC classmates in seminary. Jack in Hamden is doing great work at the UCC church.
Yes,
Or I shouldn't just single out the pastor. I mean, everyone in that church and Church on the Green. So absolutely, I love the whole body of Christ, every denomination, but also just, I mean, whether you're a Christian or not, we're all God's children. So, but I will say we are an Episcopal church, so we do have communion, the Eucharist, most Sundays. That is our style of worship. So if you've been to an Episcopal or Lutheran or Catholic church or Orthodox church, it's that style of worship, but a little lower church and all wrapped up in the jazz and the spirit of the jazz too.
I love it. So Maurice, are you gonna have did you have a launch for the new album and the EP? Did you, or did I miss that?
No, you didn't miss it. We moved so quickly into the St. PJ's event that I honestly didn't have time to plan a formal launch party. So we'll just call this the launch party, right? Because in many ways we're celebrating its public debut. So yeah, so be sure to come on out.
Edit the Facebook page, right? Let's get off this interview. Go rename it Launch Party or something.
I love it. I love it. Well, I know people are listening in this morning, and I know people are thoroughly impressed with Reverend Nathan now, and this whole idea of what this church is, and I did not know, Maurice, that was your church. I did not know that, so makes it all better now, more better.
Nice.
So, well, folks, come out to see Maurice and company, Ionne and company, October 10th, 6:30 at St. Paul
PJ.
St. James on the corner of Olive and Chapel Street. You can't miss it. It's an impressive, imposing brick structure right there on the corner. And people know it because there have been events there over the years. People have gone. How's the health of the church these days, Reverend Nathan? Are y'all good?
Yeah, we're all right. Come to the benefit concert and help make it healthier. But I'm so impressed. I mean, you were saying, hey, Reverend Nathan's impressive. It's a great church. No, church has been this way since long before I showed up. And one of the things that amazes me, so Easter was our biggest service in 10 years. Not a huge service for some, 110 people, but to see that growth is for us is great. we have, I don't know, maybe 60 people on a typical Sunday and growing. But what's amazing is, I mean, that was our number pre-COVID. And for 2 of the last 3 years, we've been without a priest in charge. These are the times, COVID, leadership changes, two leadership changes, when churches usually shrink or shrivel. But St. PJ's, financially, attendance, spiritually, the vibe, the energy, it has stayed stable at a time it should have been collapsing. And that's a testament to just the
For
amazing.
instance, I know you through. I know.
Oh, sorry. That's a little technical glitch.
It happens. So it's just a testament to the amazing people who are there, how much they love each other, how much they welcome newcomers. We had a lay leader, a warden, we call him, for a while, who was a chemistry PhD student at Yale in her 20s, leading the members who have been there for 40 and 50 years, and they like welcomed it and loved it instead of going, newcomers, no, this is how we do things here. So there's just this energy there that keeps it going and has positioned us for fantastic growth with our lay leaders and justice involvement in the community and worshiping the divine in God, but seeing the divine in one another. Yeah, I'm just amazed at how folks have kept going through the hardest times, and I cannot wait to see what's next.
Well, thank you. Thank you all for getting up early with me and coming and talking about this upcoming event. And say the name of it again, Maurice.
Sound and Style. Sound and Style.
October 10th at 6:30. On the corner of Olive and Chapel Street is St. Paul St. James Church, and bring your money so that you can keep the health of the church healthy. So thank you all this morning.
Thank you.
I hope to see you soon. I will come to church.
We look forward to it.
Fantastic.
Thank you so
See
much.
there. Maybe see you next Friday evening too.
Yes, thank you, Harry. I appreciate you. Have a good weekend.
You too.